welcome to the Rebel Ballerina Show, where we learn to live a kick-ass rebel life. I'm your host, Lisa Lurie, the Rebel Ballerina. There's no farting around in this show, just straight up fun. But if your ears are sensitive, go ahead and move along. If you want a truly kick-ass life, well, then here we go. Hey there! Welcome to the Rebel Ballerina Show, and I am your host, Lisa Lurie, the Rebel Ballerina. And I really want to hear about your dreams. So comment below because I'd love to hear your dreams. I personally believe that we all came to this planet with something embedded in us that is a passion, a desire, something to build something bigger than ourselves with. Mine, pretty obvious, ballet, being a ballerina, which I'm so thrilled to have been able to do that for real. Ballet companies, performing, touring, it's been pretty amazing. And it was something I definitely came here with. It was something I knew when I was 3 years old, which I know that that's a little bit more of an anomaly. Most people kind of struggle with trying to figure out what it is they want to do or who they want to be, right? So I'm so grateful that I was able to come here already knowing what it is I'm supposed to do, what it is that my all of me wants to do. Like this is a whole body, mind, and soul in harmony with being a ballerina. It's not like my body's like, no, I'm fed up, and or my mind is going, "Ugh, it's just so hard," or something like that, because it is hard, quite frankly. Anyone who has tried to take ballet or who has taken ballet for a while, you know what I'm talking about. You know, what's really funny is when I was teaching in Okinawa, that's where my career, my performing career ended, but I started teaching. And I was teaching on a military base in the aerobics room. And one day, this Marine guy poked his head in to see what was going on. And I was like, hey, come and join us, because we were just about ready to start class. And he looked at me and was like, nah, that's for sissies. He didn't necessarily say that, but that was his tone, right? So I was like, no, come on. You're in great shape. You should be able to handle this. Come on, let's give it a go. And he actually did. He tried it. It was an adult beginner class. So it's not like he was being thrown in with the wolves. But he left with a great respect for ballet. And I wasn't being mean or anything. I was just teaching ballet, normal. But the way we have to work in ballet is so very precise. There's a lot. Ballet is a lot. But I don't say that to dissuade you from trying it. You should be taking ballet. Everybody should. It's good for you, provided that you have the correct training. Like anything, you need the correct training. So something to check out. And I'm happy to answer those kind of questions too. Very happy. If you do want to start taking ballet anywhere, please ask me what to look for in a good studio and good teaching, because that's really, really important. Otherwise, ballet is super good for the body. We have to stretch, we have to bend, we have to be in all different directions and angles, we have to be agile, and it's so much fun. Half of the fun is just figuring it out, for one thing, because it's one giant puzzle of physics, biomechanics, anatomy, all kinds of fun stuff going on at the same time, geometry. So, and believe me, don't let math steer you away. I was terrible at math in school. Math and I aren't good friends on paper. However, I did do really well with geometry, and I can thank ballet for that. On paper, I don't like math. On paper, I couldn't do an equation right now to save my life of any kind of physics because I've never learned actual physics. But I love physics and math in motion. And ballet is probably the most exquisite display of physics and math in motion ever. Granted, I know I'm quite biased because I believe ballet is life. It's fantastic, it's wonderful, and literally everyone should at least give it a try. A good try. So I wasn't really planning on doing a whole big ad for ballet, but there you go. It just happens naturally because that's what I came to do. That's why I'm here, is to be a ballerina and to share the wonder of it and the fun of it and be able to do fun things with it and share about it, right? Teach it, do it for real. But that's my dream. And thankfully, I was able to fulfill it to some degree, not to the degree that I had hoped. But given all that I know now, I ain't stopping. I had a huge pause, not again what I had really um, thought was going to be. That was not my plan. However, I am picking up and moving forward still with actual dancing. So I'm in training, no longer teaching a lot, so that I can actually get my rear in gear, so to speak, and able to get back out on stage so that I can dance and speak my story. And I'm really, really excited to get to do that. It's going to take a little bit more time. I got to get into actual performance shape, and that's a whole nother level. So that's my dream. I'm getting to live it. I have been living it fully for the very beginning of my life until I was about 28, 29. And then the big pause. And now, after years of teaching and looking at ballet from that vantage point, I am getting ready to go back on stage. Super exciting. What is your dream? What really makes you get passionate or feel like I just did and made, I gave you a whole ad about ballet. What would you talk about? What would make you go and get all excited if you started talking about it? Because there's stuff in us, and it doesn't have to necessarily even be an actual career. It can be anything, really. Even if it's something you want to volunteer with, or maybe it is something you want to actually make some kind of career change into. The reason I'm asking is because I very firmly believe that we need to be living our dream in some way, shape, or form. We need to be living what it is that we really came here within us to share. Because I know for a fact that there's a lot of unhappy in life. And part of that unhappy can easily be the fact that we're not doing what we know we're supposed to do, even on a subconscious level. Even if it's just a some kind of gnawing thing, an intuition, and you're ignoring it. I learned how to ignore my intuition a little too well. We don't want to do that. It's something we really should pay attention to. And that's why I'm encouraging you to think about your dreams. Dreams are Well, they are magical, but it's something we really should spend our some time putting our mind to. You know, kids, they're running around, they're playing, they're pretending, they're using their imaginations. I want to be this, I want to be that, I want to do this. And the funny thing is that my cousin and I used to play cops and robbers when we were kids. And he became a policeman because we were playing out his dream, his desire, and what he wanted to do. My boyfriend's daughter always wanted to be a nurse, and she is. So it's really cool to see it when people can actually make the childhood dream come to fruition in some way, shape, or form. I know people like my mom. Her dream was to be a wife and a mom, and she was a fabulous mom, really good. So it doesn't even matter what it is. There's such an array of so many things that you could do. Maybe there's something that we haven't even thought of yet, but you have, and it was embedded in you. Well, why are you keeping it from us? That's not very nice. We want to know what it is. We want to share in it. That's what we're here for, is to share our talents and our gifts with everybody. And then we all benefit. That's the cool thing about humanity and who we are as persons and people. So, what is your childhood dream? I really believe that if you start thinking about what rocked your boat, floated your boat, rocked your world, whatever. Whatever it was that you came with that made you giggly and excited when you started either thinking about it or playing that role as a kid or getting into trouble during, well, math because you were daydreaming instead of paying attention. Daydreaming is really good, by the way. It's a really good thing. I know it's looked down upon because if you're in the middle of a business meeting or said math class or something like that, maybe that's not a good time to daydream. But daydreaming is actually quite important because we get to let our minds wander into areas that maybe we've never thought of before. Maybe we're going to figure something out that's new or a solution that you've been looking for. But if you don't daydream, the imagination never gets to be used. And so it's a super important thing to be able to daydream. So what should you be daydreaming about today? It's super important because I know that there are people who go throughout their lives feeling like they should have done something. Deathbed statistics, what people say on their deathbed, what their regrets are. There are quite a few very, well, I was going to say very seldom, but really never um, was, I wish I had made more money. That's not really what comes out of someone who is about ready to die as a regret. The regrets are staying small, not being brave enough to do something that they really wanted to do, not spending enough time with loved ones and friends, not having enough fun and traveling, just working too hard. These are some major regrets. And quite frankly, I'm happy I'm not going to have to say those. I want to make sure I don't have any. Like, okay, I've gone through a lot of struggles, but I can't say I regret that because those struggles are exactly uh, shaping me into and helping me grow into who I am today. So I can't really say I regret the struggles. Don't get me wrong, they were not fun in the process. It sucked. It was horrible to the point where I really did actually want to leave the planet. But now that I'm on the other side of that, I can see how instructive all of that was for me, and I'm glad I understood that and am understanding that. So even those are not regrets, and I can tell you that because I am stepping back into my career, even that won't be a regret because I will still fulfill what I came to do. But that's the issue. A lot of people don't fulfill that, and that is a huge regret. Why live a life of regret when you could actually be doing something about it right now? So eliminate that from your headstone. Right? Herein lies someone who is just a coward because they didn't want to go through with what they knew that they had a desire for or a gift or a talent for. Because that's really what it is. Fear. It's such a huge part of, or can be a huge part of the fawn trauma response pattern because I've already explained how my dad felt about my career. Not so good, not so encouraging, not so helpful, standing against me in reality. Thankfully, I had my mom who was behind me 100%. But I've seen it even in students at my studio where they've spent all this time and effort, parents have spent all this money, and the dancer is like really, really good. Like really should audition for a company, should be on their way to fulfilling that dream fully as a day job, being able to perform. And yet, here they are, a senior in high school, right as they should be doing that and transitioning into some kind of trainee program or full scholarship somewhere, or even a whole contract, if that's possible. And yet, the parents go whoosh and pull that rug right out from underneath, say, no, you need to go to university now. I've seen this. And I've seen the disastrous outcome. I've seen dancers go into serious depression because here they thought they were going to get to fulfill this dream that they had literally and rightfully earned a place in that area where they could go and audition. And I mean, it's a tough, tough field. It's a seriously tough field. And it's hard to get those contracts. But to be denied even that opportunity just because someone else has a design on your life, like, no, you got to be a doctor. You got to go and do whatever because I'm the parent and I know it's best for you. Well, parents know what's best for their kids when it comes to things like don't run out into the street. I don't think, though, that parents always know what's best for their kids. And I'm going to get real straight up. And so you might not like what I have to say if you're a parent and you're doing this, but that's too bad because here it is. Parents, if you fucked up your own life, your kids are not your do over. You do not get to dictate who and they are and what they're supposed to do. That's their life. If you fucked up your life, you fix your life. Don't try to relive your life through your kid. That is not fair. And it's flat out wrong. I call it out straight up, just like that. If you don't like it, turn this off. I don't care because that's the reality. Each individual person came here with whatever it is that they are supposed to do. If you didn't fulfill what you were supposed to do, figure it out and fulfill it now. It's not too late. It's never too late. You're here. It's not too late. So do that. There are so many people who are extraordinarily talented in different ways. I know of, just as an example, I don't know the name, but I know of a doctor who was very good in his field of expertise, and he just up and quit one day, just couldn't take it, started playing violin because that's what he wanted to do. That's what he had his passion for, that's where his heart was. It's like, having to live up to somebody else's expectation is sucks. It's wrong and it's not fair. I did that not because of my parents, though my dad, had I been left with my dad, that is exactly what would have happened. And that's why my mom fought so hard against her cancer to make sure that she didn't leave me with him. But it can be through someone else. Doesn't have to be through a parent, though that does happen a lot. I've watched it and it makes me sick every time. I just But for me, it happened through my ex. He had totally different design on my life than what I had already expressed I expected to happen in our marriage, which was for me to continue dancing even when and if kids came along. But that's not what he wanted. And I was trapped, basically, halfway around the world when I made this discovery, deceived into something. And I mean that. I'm not making that up. There was no hint whatsoever that I wouldn't be able to dance before we got married, before we moved. So he knew darn well that if he was honest, I would never have married him in the first place. So that can happen too. You can be involved with someone. I know someone who dances just recreationally, and her boyfriend doesn't support, even though that's what she's been doing all along. It I'm baffled. Anyway, I'm just baffled. The point is, live your dreams. Do what it is that you should be doing. Revisit your childhood memories of running around and playing. What kind of role did you gravitate to? Just like my cousin gravitated to being a cop, a police officer. Um, I was always dancing around. I did contemplate being a nurse myself or maybe a surgeon. I love the body and science and all of that. But school and I have a very precarious relationship. Not real great. But I get to live a fun and different understanding of the body through ballet, which is very fascinating to me. And I get to share that with others when I'm teaching. But what is it for you that gets you all excited? Like, if you really could just live your dreams, what would that look like? How would you feel when you woke up every day? I mean, because it's something that should feel more like, "Yeah, this is so much fun." And if you get paid for it, I mean, how fantastic is that? If there's some way you can discover what that could be, then get going. I mean, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? The time is of the essence, right? You may as well just do it. Why not do it and end up having that be a regret on your deathbed? Just get out there and live your dream in some way, shape, or form. If it can be monetized, even more fun, right? But if not, if it's feeding your soul, do it. There's Who's stopping you, really? Who's stopping you? And if someone is stopping you, well, there's a big old red flag. Maybe you ought to take a look at. I know that's not easy because I spent 20 years looking at red flags, some of which I didn't even recognize as red flags, some of which I did, some of which I knew that were huge red flags. But I felt trapped and I felt like I couldn't do anything about it. And it took me 20 years to figure out, oh, yes, I can do something about it. And that's when I left. Don't wait. Get to it. Figure it out. Think about what it is that really sets your heart on fire and just gives you so much fun just thinking about. Start daydreaming. Start asking questions. You'd be surprised at how the universe will answer your questions and help things come to action for you. I'm living it. That's why I can say that, because I'm living it. I It's amazing. It's so much fun. It's so much more enjoyable. Life is so much more deep and rich and happy and exciting because I get to live my dreams. I want you to live your dreams too, because that's the life that we're supposed to live, which is super fun and happy and exciting and joyful. That's what it's supposed to be about. Yeah, we have things we go through that aren't so fun, but truly, life is supposed to be fun and exciting and joyful. So figure out what it is that makes your life that way. Daydream. Go go crazy with your imagination. Spend some time just thinking in wonder of what that would be like, and then make it happen. So that's it for today. I have to go and work on my own dream in the studio in a little bit. So I will see you again tomorrow. Tomorrow we are talking about why we're so stressed out. Why are we so stressed out? Let's figure that out. Have a fantastic day and go daydream.